When the white man came, he brought his chains and his book.
Who is the author of Things Fall Apart, and why is he important?
The novel was written by Chinua Achebe, a Nigerian author often regarded as the father of modern African literature. Achebe was the first to portray African culture from an African perspective, challenging colonial stereotypes presented by European writers like Joseph Conrad.
When was the novel published, and what is its historical context?
It was published in 1958, during a time when many African nations were seeking independence from colonial rule. The novel reflects Nigeria's pre-colonial life and the early impacts of British colonization.
What is the main theme of Things Fall Apart?
The central theme is the clash between traditional African culture and Western colonialism. It also explores masculinity, fate, religion, and the disintegration of indigenous societies.
Who is Okonkwo, and what defines his character?
Okonkwo is the protagonist, a respected warrior and leader in the Igbo village of Umuofia. His life is driven by fear of failure and weakness, traits he associates with his father, Unoka. His pride and rigid masculinity lead to his downfall.
What role does Unoka play in Okonkwo's personality development?
Unoka, Okonkwo's father, was gentle, lazy, and poor. Okonkwo's hatred for his father's weakness drives him to become hard-working, aggressive, and obsessed with success and masculinity.
What is the significance of the title Things Fall Apart?
The title, taken from W.B. Yeats's poem The Second Coming, symbolizes the breakdown of traditional society under colonial influence. It also mirrors Okonkwo's personal collapse as his world falls apart.
What is Umuofia, and what does it represent?
Umuofia is the Igbo village where the story takes place. It represents the strength, complexity, and traditions of pre-colonial African society before the arrival of Europeans.
How does Achebe use Igbo traditions in the novel?
Achebe enriches the story with Igbo customs, proverbs, rituals, and language to show the depth of African culture. This cultural realism corrects colonial misrepresentations of African life.
Who are the missionaries, and what is their role?
The missionaries, led by Mr. Brown and later Reverend Smith, represent Christianity and Western civilization. Their arrival causes division in Umuofia and accelerates the cultural disintegration.
What is Okonkwo's tragic flaw?
His hubris, excessive pride, and fear of weakness make him inflexible. He cannot adapt to change, which leads to his tragic downfall.
How does Nwoye's conversion affect Okonkwo?
Nwoye, Okonkwo's son, converts to Christianity, seeking compassion and peace absent in his father's harshness. This betrayal deeply wounds Okonkwo and widens the gap between generations.
How does Achebe portray women in Igbo society?
Women are shown as both marginalized and essential. While men dominate politically, women play vital roles in family, religion, and culture, especially in storytelling and nurturing traditions.
What is the role of proverbs in the novel?
Proverbs express Igbo wisdom and oral tradition. Achebe writes, "Proverbs are the palm oil with which words are eaten, showing how they enrich communication and preserve culture."
How does Achebe challenge Western stereotypes about Africa?
Achebe presents Africans as complex, intelligent, and organized. He rejects the colonial image of Africa as primitive, showing the Igbo people as human, spiritual, and communal.
How does the novel explore the theme of fate versus free will?
While Okonkwo tries to control his destiny through strength and success, fate intervenes, especially when he kills Ikemefuna and later a clansman, showing how destiny often overrides personal effort.
Who is Ikemefuna and what is his significance?
Ikemefuna is a boy from another village given to Umuofia as compensation for murder. He becomes like a son to Okonkwo, but Okonkwo kills him to avoid seeming weak, an act that begins his emotional downfall.
What is the role of religion in Things Fall Apart?
Religion is central to both conflict and identity. Traditional Igbo spirituality is challenged by Christianity, symbolizing the spiritual colonization that precedes political domination.
How does Achebe use irony in the novel?
The greatest irony is that Okonkwo, who seeks to protect his culture and strength, ends up destroyed by his own rigidity. Similarly, the missionaries preach peace but bring division.
What does Okonkwo's exile symbolize?
His exile represents both personal punishment and societal transition. While he's away, his village changes, symbolizing how traditional life erodes during his absence.
What is the meaning of Okonkwo's death?
Okonkwo's suicide represents ultimate defeat, the collapse of traditional values he fought to preserve. In Igbo culture, suicide is an abomination, making his death tragically ironic.
Who is Obirika and why is he important?
Obirika is Okonkwo's thoughtful friend who questions certain traditions and colonial practices. He serves as Achebe's moral voice, representing balance and reason.
How does Achebe structure the novel?
The novel is divided into 3 parts: Okonkwo's rise, exile, and return, mirroring the rise and fall of Igbo society under colonial impact. How does Achebe blend oral tradition with written form? He uses folk tales, songs, and proverbs to create a written text that still feels oral, celebrating African storytelling heritage.
What is the role of the district commissioner?
The district commissioner represents colonial authority. His final plan to reduce Okonkwo's story to a paragraph in his book shows how colonial history silences African voices.
What does the novel say about masculinity?
Okonkwo's idea of masculinity is based on dominance, violence, and success. Achebe critiques this toxic masculinity by showing how it isolates him from his family and culture.
How does Things Fall Apart critique colonialism?
It exposes how colonial powers destroy native religions, laws, and unity, not through war alone, but through religion, manipulation, and bureaucracy.
What is Achebe's message in Things Fall Apart?
Achebe urges readers to recognize the beauty and complexity of African culture, the pain of cultural loss, and the necessity of understanding history through native eyes.
Through Things Fall Apart, Chinua Achebe gives Africa a voice, powerful, tragic, and unforgettable. The fall of Okonkwo is not just one man's story. It's the story of a continent torn between tradition and change.